Everyone's heard of the mythical 10X engineer. Faster, smarter, better. Maybe even able to fix production with one hand while writing a new framework with the other. But do we really need superheroes in IT or just better teams? This week on The Architect's Lens, we unpack the hype, the reality, and the traps behind the 10X engineer myth.
Hello. Welcome once more to Architect's Lens. With me, as always, Savvy. Hi, Savvy. How are things?
Good, Nenad. Very good.
Yeah. I think today we will have yet another great episode. I hope everyone is ready for it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Any news on your side? Anything interesting you like to mention before we do the deep dives and all the technical stuff?
Yeah, life's been pretty busy. I've been traveling quite a lot.
Okay,
I was
nice.
at DevOps Con Munich. Went there. Then I had a work trip to US.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah. So yeah, life's been good.
So
Good
how's the
busy.
US these days?
Yeah.
Okay.
Better not say anything on social media now. You never know.
Keep it politically correct. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So let's do the topic we're here for, and it's this notion of 10x engineer, right? Which is a kind of a older, but I think that in this age of AI, it's kind of brought back in terms of increased productivity, right? So we're here to see if it is a myth. It is something that actually exists in the wild as an endangered species. And what does it actually mean, right? What does it mean to be, what is a 10x engineer? So what's your take on it? What's your experience with, the myth, let's say, of a 10x engineer?
Okay. So I was thinking about this, and I have a couple of identifiers for this mythical character.
Okay.
Right? How do you know somebody is a 10x engineer? Classic traits of a 10x engineers.
Yeah.
Right?
How do you recognize one in the wild?
How do you recognize one? Number one, zero social skills. Okay. Hates
Right.
meetings.
Okay.
Okay. Um, Codes like a maniac. Knows all the keyboard shortcuts.
Okay.
Okay. And somehow manages to save, has a history of doing some heroic saves
Okay.
in the past.
Okay, so he's the guy that in times of need everybody turns to, right?
Has historically turned to, and he's
Okay.
got some medals with him.
Okay,
Right?
so now
Is it relevant today or not is the question and is the topic of debate today.
So it's just he's riding the wave of past successes.
Yes. And he has the medals to prove that. There's no
Yeah,
denying that.
sure.
Right?
But it's questionable now if
yes.
his knowledge and skills and expertise are relevant for any specific problem.
Yes, and there's also one more slight element to that he's been a 10x engineer, right? But now he's got, let's say, 10 years experience.
Okay.
How does he then now mold his career into? Does he continue to become a 10x engineer, or what happens beyond a point, right?
Or he's a 10x team lead or something. But
is he a 10x team lead, or does it drop then?
But
because it's
also
very different now.
Yeah, one so the concept, right, or the idea that we have this 10x guy, right? But this 10x means he's 10 times more productive than
Yeah.
who? Than the rest of the guys.
Then the rest of them,
Yeah.
yes,
What
yes.
if the other guys are just plain
Douchebags.
lazy and he's just
Yeah,
working more?
yeah. It's
So
everything
how
is
do you?
relative, right?
Yeah, everything is relative. But so how do you actually identify based on what past productivity? Like, okay, we saw this guy at his 1x, and now
Hmm.
through time he's become a 10x, however we measure that. And how are the others benchmarking? I mean, is it just, he's 10 times better than the rest of the guys, or he's 10 times better than he was?
No, I think it's with the rest of the guys,
Yeah.
because there could have been situations where he has outshined others in terms
Mhm.
of those dire needs. A
Yeah.
P1 came through, folks were sitting for 5 hours on a call, nobody making any headway, and then they pull in this guy, and 20 minutes later, he solved it.
Yeah. So this is that hero part. He's the savior. He's the guy that
Correct.
jumped in and solved everything in minutes, which was a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And your question was, okay, now he was this guy, but
Hmm.
years have passed and time has
Yeah,
caught up,
yeah.
and he's a wee bit slower than before, but he's still the guy, right?
No, 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 not slowed down. Okay, I'll give you a real life example.
Yeah.
Right? So I know this 10x guy,
Okay.
right? And he's a sledgehammer,
Okay.
right? So this guy, what he would do is, as you're describing to him a problem statement, even before you complete, he has three solutions for you,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
right? And even before you can say, okay, I've given you an overview, can we talk about this tomorrow? And he will have implemented something and come tomorrow to the meeting with a proof of concept saying, hey, this is how I want to do it,
Yeah.
which is great. But now the problem is, he always carries that sledgehammer and everything
Yeah.
is a nail,
Yeah.
right? But now he's elevated to a different position where he's talking to the senior guys. They're expecting a solution, they're expecting a roadmap, they're expecting return of investment, all of that
Yeah.
jazz. And this guy is saying, what the heck is this? Where is my
Yeah.
technology problem? I have a sledgehammer, I
Yeah.
don't know where to hammer now.
It's not his turf, and his
It's
hammering
not his turn.
is actually
Exactly.
counterproductive.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the issues is, of course, maybe in this career transition, we lost a hero,
Yeah.
right? On
Mm.
the other hand, I do somehow, I don't know, as time goes by, I see those hero guys as kind of a peril in the long term, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
because those hero guys they don't document, there's no like
Yes.
lessons learned and shared knowledge,
No,
right?
no.
You know he's a solo player, right? So he doesn't
Yeah, yeah.
share,
Yeah.
and in long term that's will just cause, I don't know, organizations to lose knowledge, and he's the
More
one
pain.
that
Yeah.
is not sharing. So those guys usually in the long term, I don't know, are a liability. I
Yeah.
mean, if they don't share, right? And then if they don't transfer knowledge, if they don't, educate the
Mm.
juniors, then
Yeah.
all of this heroism kind of is counterproductive long term again.
Yeah.
Nobody can argue that he's the guy that saved the day countless times,
Mm.
but nobody knows how, and if you don't know how, you cannot prevent it from happening again, right?
Yeah.
Or learn from it. So that's kind of a, I don't know. This is my, let's say, experience that, and as time goes by, I kind
Hmm.
of like less those hero guys. I know their
I think
value.
I think they have a place for them, right? And it is on the organization to either help them transition or keep them in places where they can add value. But to
Yes.
expect them to turn into, super
Yeah.
generous players who are doing brown bag sessions, that'll not happen with them unless
Yes.
they want to do it.
Yes. But it's in the description of the hero guy that he doesn't want to do it.
Exactly.
He's a
Yeah,
hero
yeah.
guy.
That's the definition of it.
But then, I mean, how I see this usually happening is you mentioned two options. The third one I see happening is that actually nothing changes, right? The guy
Mm,
remains where he is. This, for instance, this kind of a career advancement, like it's in the higher senior position, basically will, or even managerial position,
mm,
will not make any real kind of, it will be the same, right? The guy will still be doing engineering, the
yeah.
solutions. He will be coding. Even if he's in a managerial position, he will still do deep dives into code, into technical problem solving, and he will not be basically performing his managerial role
Yeah. Yeah.
efficiently, right? And because
Mm.
his comfort zone is problem solving.
It's
He's
not
good
that.
at,
Yeah.
yeah, and this is
Yeah.
where he falls back to, and this is what kind of drives him. So in reality, nothing has changed,
Mm,
right? He's still trying to be the hero because that's who he is,
mm,
right? He's
mm.
the 10x engineer. But this 10x is no longer 10x. It's basically, in my view, is reducing the productivity overall. If I'm a manager, that guy, a manager, and I need to handle 10 teams or 10 products, and my go-to is doing the deep dives instead of
Yeah.
managing from above, then I will fail in all 10 projects. I cannot do it.
So, are you saying that the 10x engineer has an expiry date
He
beyond
has,
which it's a bad medicine in the drawer?
I think, I mean, yes, in those situations, the 10x
Yeah.
guy needs to remain 10x guy. But again, it's not happening. Why?
Yeah.
I mean, as time goes by, this is the aging stuff. Technology and everything changes, right? And how these solutions are built today is totally different than 10 years
Very
ago.
different. Yeah.
And then development practices, engineering practices, collaboration practices. So
Mm,
and you are the 10x guy in a specific set of circumstances. When those
mhm. Yeah.
change, you are no longer a 10x guy. That's why you have legacy systems, you have legacy people,
Yeah.
talent,
Yeah.
and they will work well within those legacy environments. And,
Mm.
I mean, and as long as we have legacy systems, they will still be 10x guys
Yeah. Okay.
for those
Yeah.
systems, and usually that's good enough.
Mm.
I would say for some organizations, because there's always risk of change. You don't want to abruptly change everything in a one big bang because you cannot, and that's why this kind of systems
Mm.
persist. The legacy systems and legacy people,
Yeah.
talent.
So
But
let me ask you this: would you rather have two 10x engineers or a team of four or five average people running? Which one would you prefer and when?
yeah, the when part is
Because you need
crucial.
both, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you would need both, right? And
Yeah.
for instance, if you're a startup, right? and you want to build quick, fast, push
Yeah.
to production, get your product out there, two 10x guys are golden, right?
Done. You're done.
Done.
Yeah.
You don't need anything else, right?
Correct.
But then when your the startup scales out, right, and you
Yeah.
need a lot more guys, then
Mm.
four teams of, I don't know, 5, 6 average,
Mm.
which is perfectly fine. So the average is not bad, right?
It's not bad. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically, in a nutshell, is what you need, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You just want to be quick at a start, and you want to be sustainable throughout, other
Mm.
product life
Mm.
cycles or development life cycles. So this is kind of the dynamic, right? Uh, Later on, you would need maybe this firefighting scenarios where you need a 10x
Yeah.
guide.
Yeah.
But again, if you set the goal is to set up your systems, your processes in such
Mm.
way that you don't need a 10x guy. Because if you
Yeah.
do need a 10x guy, then you really have
You
problems,
have a
right?
problem
You
then.
think
It's a
of,
different problem.
yeah,
Yeah.
you've done a lot of shortcuts,
Mm.
etc., and now you need a 10x guy, which
Yeah.
is kind of what's happening now also with the wipe coding, where you
Yeah.
have this 1000x guy that's and then afterwards you need a 10x guy to clean up the mess, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, uh, uh, I think you need a 10x guy at a certain point. It's good to have one,
Mm. Mm.
but you always need to be mindful. When is it? When does it become not sustainable? Right?
Yeah.
When will this lockdown of knowledge and capability actually be hurting your organization?
Mm. Yeah. True.
What is kind of, let's say, your view on the term? I mean, you asked me what would I like in terms of two 10x and a team. What's your take on it? Are we seeing the same, logic?
So I think, like you said, both have their own place. There are places
Mhm.
where you need the 10x person. Um, I would even add one more angle to it. It
Okay.
depends on, um, is my 10x guy evolving also?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because these characters, right, they need enough challenges to
Mm.
remain 10x,
Yeah.
right? So they pose a different problem. Am I able to throw enough challenges at this person to keep him at a 10x level? Otherwise he or she drops,
Yeah.
right? So that poses a different set of challenges. How do I keep him technically challenged?
Yes, that's a very good point. So basically, what you're saying, you always need to, the guy, 10x guy, need to be always on the edge of
Yes, exactly. You need to keep pushing
innovation.
him.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so this kind of innovation, new technology,
Yeah.
new stuff. But on the other hand, this is not real situation how organizations work, right? When you build something, you maintain it, you try to get the most out of it, right? It will not
Yeah. Yeah.
reinvent the entire system year after year, right?
Yeah. So if you're lucky and if you have the in a position where you can experiment,
Okay.
even if it is a smaller scale with a new technology, with a new solution, if you are in that kind of a space, then I think this is a lasting game. Otherwise,
Okay.
if you are going into run of the mill, support my product and don't get too crazy with it, then keeping a 10x guy in the team is tough.
Yeah. And you basically don't get the 10x value that because
You don't get, then there's no
no,
point
because you
then.
don't need it. At that
You don't
point, you
need it.
actually do not need it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
Then that
again,
10x guy becomes a 10x pain in the wrong place then.
10x spend. But
Yeah.
so 10x guy, unfortunately, then has kind of a risk of
Mm.
losing his 10x status because it will no
Yes.
longer be 10x because it will be an X,
Yeah.
1x. Just run with the flow. We've set this product up. We're doing fine. We're doing maintenance. I don't know, new features every whatever. So, right, it's not a 10x requirement. Um, how do we? So this is kind of a, let's say, we've lost the requirement to be productive. Basically, we
Mm.
don't
Mm.
need this
Yeah.
increased productivity. Is it a good thing? What does that mean? How come we don't need that productivity anymore, and we do we have need for it in the start?
It's
Is it the
not
organization?
necessarily a bad thing. The logical answer would be, hey, no, that's crazy. You've lost the spark. But
Yeah,
if you are a large enterprise, then it's not necessarily a bad thing because you can't keep rocking the boat. You need stability, you need systems which you can depend on. It's not a bad thing, right? If you are at that scale and size.
yeah. So for an
Yeah.
organizations to maintain the quality or
Yeah.
of their 10x engineers, those
Hmm.
guys are the guys that need to be switching frequently from one thing to
Yeah.
another,
Yeah.
challenge
Yeah.
their skills,
Challenge.
try to put them in, try to make them solve problems, uh, maybe for the future,
Yeah.
right? For some innovation tasks or initiatives,
Hmm.
always keep them on the edge.
Yeah.
But and you need to figure out how to make them transfer knowledge once they move to the next thing, right? Or you
Yeah.
need,
And that depends on the lifespan of this 10x guy. You know, a 10x guy with 2 years, 3 years experience is a ticking time bomb. You got to take care of him or her, right? But
yeah,
if he's been 10x for 10 years, maybe there is a transition time where he himself wants to transition into something, maybe not a 10x, but a 5x across a
yeah.
broader place. Then you
Okay,
have
but
to be able to
yeah,
handle that.
no, I would say that is always kind of what is the engineering career path.
Yeah,
You
correct.
go
Yeah,
into
yeah.
what is now you're
Is it,
you know
is it an architect then?
yeah, is it an senior engineer?
Yeah,
Where does it end, right? Maybe you don't want to be a manager, right?
yeah,
Maybe
yeah, sure.
or a kind of a managerial position in terms of team lead, right? Maybe.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, Again, the same thing goes. Maybe you don't want to be an architect. Why would you ever want to be an architect, right? So,
sure. And I
uh,
know people like that who've been in the industry for 20, 25 years. They still love their code and that's
yeah,
all they want to do. But then you have to be in that sort of an organization, a
yes,
product which has been running for 20 years, which is still not changing, where it has value. You know what was done 15 years back. You know the guy who died 2 months ago and his code is still running. You were friends with him. It matters then, right?
yeah. But okay, so uh, they're the guys. I mean, some of them probably are the guys that want to remain where they are, basically, and that's
Yeah.
perfectly fine. But you still have this edge you need to keep, right? As time goes by, the what we mentioned last time, kind of senior engineer with 5 years experience. What am I? At 20 years of
20
experience,
years, yeah.
what does that make me, right? And granted, you probably will be a different kind of engineer after 20 years, right?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
this, 10x productivity, and this is still a big question mark. What does it actually mean?
Mm.
With 20 years of experience, your output will be, maybe a small thing that will solve a bunch of stuff
Yeah.
that would otherwise cause you, loss of
Mm.
100x productivity in terms of
Mm.
effort. So this is but you will no longer be coding and I don't know,
Mm.
spewing out code at extreme pace like an AI
Yeah.
agent,
Yeah.
but your output in terms of how much the value is,
Mm.
let's say, produced is maybe greater, right?
Yeah.
Then so building up to your 10x engineering status, what do you need
Mhm.
to do? You are a guy, a junior, and your goal is to be a 10x engineer. What do you need to do?
Okay, if I'm a junior and my goal is to become a 10x engineer,
Yeah.
first I need to make sure that I know my fundamentals strong.
Okay.
Right? I'll start from there because it's very tempting to know that there is something called a 10x engineer who probably gets paid 20x more,
Yeah.
and it's sexy and that's what I want to be. But before I start climbing that ladder, I want to check what's my current state. How
Mm-hmm.
good am I on the fundamentals of programming, networking, Linux, uh, technology stacks? How well do I understand that? Because I would rather fix that base now than 6 months later when I'm trying to debug Kubernetes and I don't know why the heck this is failing, or I can't understand network topology. Then it's
Yeah.
very tough to go down and fix it.
Yeah. This now kind of reminded me of a real life example a while
Okay.
ago. Uh, I was working on a system with a couple of juniors,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the basic thing of to log in a user and assign permission to a
Mm-hmm.
user. And it was a system that had three different types of users. Like you had
Okay.
administrators, support,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
have the end user. And first I was kind of surprised that the concept of permissions and assigning permissions was they were totally void of the concept that
You could have different permissions.
yeah, in the terms of okay that there are different like security aspects for
Yeah.
each
Yeah.
role. They have their
Mm.
own, and we were working with Keycloak, and
Okay.
there is a term of realm, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is a realm? How does it, what does it mean for your system, your solution? What if you have three
Mm.
or four realms? Why do you
Mm.
need, right?
Yeah.
Why how does an application communicate with another
Mm.
application, and what is the user context in I am
Yeah.
accessing one application through another, etc. And you
Mm.
can have different permissions based on which
Mm.
services you use, etc. And the lack of this concept,
Mm. Mm.
for juniors and trying to actually kind of build up that skills, right? It's sort of
Mm.
it's both security, architecture, solution
Yeah.
design, right? You need to think, and this is
Mm.
something that if you have experience, so if you're at least
Yeah.
mid, and if you have had failed, uh, or
Yeah.
bugs in those, then you have learned pretty
Then you
quickly
know. Yeah,
what
yeah,
does it
yeah,
mean, right?
yeah,
But starting with juniors who, of course, need to learn a lot, right? And you have that kind of road ahead in terms of what you
mm,
need to learn, what you need to figure out, right?
mm,
How does that, and there's a lot of things to learn, and you mentioned that you need to, if you want to be a 10x engineer, you need to know a lot, right?
yeah,
Be kind of spread out, networking,
yeah.
security, you need to understand. So is it something that you need to kind of do inner reflection, self-reflection, and say, maybe I'm not a 10x guy because, yeah,
So,
those security realms I just cannot grasp, but I'm good at coding, so I'll.
so I think it's more a attitude, right?
Okay.
Because the way a 10x guy thinks is different. For example, if I take your example, then if I am a budding 10x engineer, I would recognize that these are realms, these are something that I don't understand, I don't know. Okay, let me spend half an hour figure what this shit is.
Yeah.
Right? I
Yeah, I
withdraw, I
agree.
go back, I study, I understand. Okay, what was realms before keto? What was it called? How did
Yeah.
it work? Where did it start from?
Yeah.
Right?
What am I
Figure
trying
that
to
and
solve
come back.
with this? Yeah.
What am I trying to solve
Yeah.
for? What is the origin
Try
of
to
this thing?
find try to find use cases that somebody
Yeah,
else wrote about or
exactly.
passed somewhere on
But
Stack.
then don't get stuck in that rabbit hole. Come back in an hour, 2 hour, and say, okay, now I get it. Now what are we trying to solve? Okay, now tell me, let's talk now.
Yeah.
So that's the recognition of a 10x. A 1x either doesn't go down that rabbit hole or never comes back.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. The answer is the 10x guy is kind of what's the word? Is ambitious.
Yeah,
He is self-driven. He definitely
self-driven.
wants
Yeah,
to learn, and he has short study, let's say, cycles.
yeah,
I
yeah,
figure
yeah,
out, I try to implement, I try to learn from what went wrong, what went right, and
yeah. Doesn't
repeat.
lose focus. Doesn't lose focus on what they're trying to do,
Um,
because it's very easy to get into a rabbit hole and then get sucked deep in and then forget what you were trying to accomplish and end up doing a PhD on rollback access control.
yeah.
It doesn't help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing we mentioned that the 10x engineers are, heroes. They solve their stuff alone, right?
Mm.
One of the, I don't know. It's a misconception, or is it true that they are kind of lone wolves? They, don't like to play along.
Mm.
So, and there is a saying, if you want to go fast, go alone.
Go
If you
alone.
want to
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
far, go together.
Yeah.
So does that mean that they are a risk in a sense, right? That they can hinder your progress? I mean, as an organization or as a product team.
So it all depends on what phase that organization is or that team is, and what's the relevance. Do you need heroes? Do you need heroes all the time? Do you need them at a box and get them out when required?
Yeah,
You need to know how to handle them. Right?
yeah. From our this conversation, I get it that those heroes are really not that great.
They're going to be pissed off when they hear all this.
It's not like sunny for them in the future in the
It
organization.
isn't. It isn't. That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
How do
Yeah.
you? I mean, again, I would assume that there are more. non 10x engineers than 10x, so there are a rarity.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
And it's good to keep them, good to have them. But if you do have those kind of individuals, you need to take care of them. You need to make them always on the edge, always evolving, right? They need to keep up with what's happening, be on this innovation edge. So that's also kind of a risk for your organizations, because that means I need to put money in that, right? Maybe I
Yeah,
don't need
I'll
that kind
also
of
give you another real life example of one guy who I know. So that guy, definitely a 10x guy. As years moved along, he went into upper management, right?
okay.
And he realized that I can't be a 10x engineer now because the demands from me are different. I'm
Mhm.
managing architectures, I'm looking at more businessy problems with the technology
Yeah.
angle. I can't do that, right? So
Yeah.
he did something very smart. He started applying his 10x abilities on personal projects at home to
Okay.
satisfy his itch, you
Okay.
know. And now, if you meet that guy, after 10 minutes, he will bring out his cell phone. He will show you how he's done home automation, how he can
Okay.
control every sprinkler in his home, every boiler,
Yeah.
and he
With
can
real
go.
time feedback and charts.
Oh, totally. And he'll bring up, his
Yeah,
entire
yeah,
home
yeah.
automation and say, hey, this bathroom light is on. Let me switch it off from India in California. He will do all of that. But it works, right? He's found a way to channelize his creative energy. And
Yeah,
that's
and
it.
that's good. So that is good for him personally, because he
Yeah.
can channel his itch, as you say. But
Yeah.
has the organization actually lost that by putting him into managerial position? Couldn't the organization just, create a more engaging environment? Granted, maybe,
Very tough to do, right?
yeah, very
Not
tough.
realistically possible at all organizations. Very hard to do.
But maybe the organization had sprinklers and needed, remote
Yeah.
light switching. So, no. But
Yeah.
what would be your conclusion of this topic? What would be your summary be of a 10x engineer?
So I think it's an interesting breed of people. If you
Mm-hmm.
are an organization, then, or if you are a person who's leading a team or in that decision making position, then you got to recognize your 3x, 4x people and nurture
Mm-hmm.
them to 10x. You should know how to spot them, give them the opportunities, have them grow, get them at 10x, give them, challenge them enough. That's for somebody who's leading those teams. If you yourself are a 10x person, you should know how to leverage your creativity, your itch,
10xness, yeah.
10x itch. If the organization is able to manage that, great, you're lucky. If not, figure out your sprinklers and what,
Yeah, yeah,
put out your Raspberry Pi farm at your home and have fun.
yeah.
Stay happy. That would
Yeah,
be
yeah.
my take.
I agree. One thing, so the question mark, from the beginning, from my side, this 10x was coined to kind of say, okay, these guys are 10 times more productive, right?
Hmm.
By whatever ways we measure, and that is
Yeah.
still a matter of, discussion. But and this 10x productivity could be they deliver 10 times more value.
Mm.
But again, it's question, how do you measure that?
Yeah.
And it's difficult to keep this kind of commitment, let's say, that okay, my
Mm.
work will really I may work the same amount, but the value I produce may not be equal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a tricky thing, and the 10x term is now, I would say, more attached to those guys that we discussed, those heroes, those guys that do all sort of stuff, right, all around, and they solve problems in minutes. And it's no longer that concept. Okay, this is the guy that is 10 times more productive. I think
Yeah.
that is not true for the term that we're using. So
Yeah.
it's the kind of savant engineer that
Yeah.
yeah, and it is a rare beast, that needs being taken care of. And it's actually, once the need for this 10x guy dies out naturally, then it's kind of a liability. And on a personal level, if you're that guy, you need to be aware that you may need to find other ways of
Yeah.
getting your kicks. Yeah.
Yep.
I haven't so far met any 10x architects, so I don't know. That's
Yeah, because by the time they become an architect, they stop counting the
yeah,
X's.
there's
Yeah.
no spark anymore to keep. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Savi, thank you. It's been a great show once more,
Sure.
and hope to see you soon. And with a new exciting talk.
Absolutely. Cheers.